Today I'm beginning one of England's most overlooked long-distance walks, the medieval Two Saints Way, which links the ancient Chester and Lichfield cathedrals on an old pilgrimage route. The walk travels 92 miles through the heart of England, and part 1 will see me beginning at a saint's shrine and ending at a Norman castle. Join me. The Two Saints Way begins here in Chester Cathedral, specifically at the shrine of St Werburgh, who is the patron saint of Chester. Her remains made this city an important place of pilgrimage in the Middle Ages. She was a significant figure who helped spread Christianity through the Anglo-Saxon kingdom of Mercia, which encompassed the English Midlands. From this cathedral, I'll be heading south through the city, out into the Cheshire countryside, and onwards towards Beeston Castle. So here we are at the beginning of the Two Saints Way, right next to the St Werburgh shrine. I'm trying to keep my voice quiet because it's very quiet in this church. Her remains are no longer in there after the dissolution of the monasteries. This shrine was vandalised and destroyed, and no one knows where the remains have gone, but it was rebuilt and it's still here to this day. But anyway, let's get going. Ahead is Chester's High Cross, which has marked the heart of the city for centuries. It's still a gathering point, but back then it was also a place for announcements and markets. Anyone passing through Chester, including the pilgrims setting out on this journey, would certainly have passed this cross. One of my favourite things about Chester is how its history hides in plain sight. Believe it or not, inside this seemingly ordinary café are some Roman baths that are nearly 2,000 years old. Let's check it out. How amazing is this? Literally just below a cafe, Roman ruins, over 1,800 years old, public baths. Insane. In a hippocaust, I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. And all this would have been used for central heating under the floors. And it's all still here. That is an incredible hidden gem. And I'm actually going to go have an English breakfast now because I am hungry for the walk ahead. So yeah, this is the perfect place to come. So that place was well worth it. The breakfast was actually really nice. Wasn't the cheapest, but it was actually nice. So I think we turn left here now at these crossroads. We should be going down to this gate here, this old gate. It's actually called Newgate. I'm guessing it was probably the newest built, but it used to be called Wolfgate as well. So here is what used to be called Wolfgate, perhaps because the next major destination for the medieval pilgrims after this gate was the shrine at St Wulfad in stone. And just past this gate is the largest Roman amphitheatre ever discovered in Britain, and only half of it is excavated. Right next to the amphitheatre is St John's Church, which was once the original cathedral of Chester. It was founded in the late 11th century, serving as the seat of the bishop before the role later moved to the present Chester Cathedral after the Reformation. What makes St John's special though is its interior architecture. It's one of the best surviving examples of the transitioning period from the Norman to the Gothic style. You can still see traces of its former importance by the scale of the building. For centuries this would have been one of the most significant religious sites in the region, and another place the pilgrims probably stopped at before continuing their journey south. Yeah, this church of St John, which is the original cathedral of Chester, is a pretty incredible place. Both inside really nice, they're more, updated, heavily Victorian rebuilt, but obviously you've got these foundations here, these old ruins now that were basically destroyed in the dissolution of the monasteries with Henry VIII, but they're still standing. So much history in Chester, it's ridiculous how much stuff there is here. I'll have to come back and literally you could make videos just on this, but alas, we need to get moving because we actually need to get out of Chester and start the walk properly. So first we need to go through this Grosvenor Park, and we should start being on our way a bit more then. I think these are the biggest holly bushes I've ever seen. Absolutely massive. So this gentleman is the second Marquis of Westminster, who kindly donated this whole park to the city, so it is now a public place, and we are going down there left from here. I was almost a little bit lost to see which way out of the park to go, but it's luckily signposted, so that's very nice. Heading down Russell Street now, and at the end of this street is the canal, so the Shropshire Union Canal I think it's called, where I think we'll be on that for almost the rest of the day today, all the way to Beeston Castle. So don't quite know why there's a Spitfire here, but we have a Spitfire, and we are heading down to the right. And funnily enough, a few years ago I was going that way because that was the start of the North Welsh Coast Walk, so now we're doing the opposite. So the first day of the Two Saints Way is actually supposed to be from Chester all the way to Nantwich, which is a very long day. It's like 23 miles, and I'm halving that pretty much, just because I didn't want to rush, and I wanted to actually go in all the churches and stuff along the way, and actually, you know, take me time, and plus making a video takes longer. So yeah, today we're going from Chester, and we're going to end at Beeston Castle, maybe about 13 miles or something like that, so definitely got a long way to go, but very doable because it doesn't go dark till about 8 o'clock now. We've just got a lock coming up. Do we go over it or do we go under it? We go under it. It's nicely pathed all around here. And look at this tower that's coming up. I don't even really know what that is. The old canal cottage, lockkeeper's cottage as well here. Beautiful. There's also a very cute little church here. It's now converted into houses, but this would have been used by the canal workers. Essentially, when they would come here, they could basically hop off and have a quick little prayer service, whatever they needed. How cool is that? Love these little houses by the canal. It'd be so nice to live by one of these. Just going past the water station now. And this lock is called Chemistry Lock because there used to be big chemical works here making naphtha, I think it's called, like a very flammable liquid. The city history of Chester was slowly disappearing behind me, and ahead was around 11 miles of canal walking, although I should consider myself lucky, as the medieval pilgrims didn't have this easy towpath to follow. This is an interesting little lot because obviously you've got the normal Lotman's cottage, but then you've got this little circular hut, which is called a lengthsman hut, and there's only 3 of them left on the Chester Canal, and this is one of them. Very dainty little thing, obviously all boarded up now, but you know, you just think hundreds of years ago, people doing a shift in there, you know, helping the waterways run, but it's all still here, even if it's a bit dilapidated. We've just gone under the A55 and now looks like we're getting into more rural area, but we're coming off here, I think, this bridge, because we're going to see another church. It's a place called Christleton or Christleton, not sure how you pronounce it, but we do have a little detour here. In the centre of Christleton stands St James' Church, a place of worship with origins stretching back to the Roman period. The church today is largely Victorian, with exception to the tower, which was built in the late 1400s. The rest was rebuilt in the 19th century, but the much older site it stands on would have been familiar to the original pilgrims of the Two Saints Way. Christleton itself would have been an important stopping point just outside of Chester, and churches like these offered rest, as well as a sense of direction for the long journey ahead. This beautiful church, St James at Christleton. I've just asked, and it is Christleton, I've just asked a lady who lives here, and that's how it's pronounced. It used to belong to the monks at Chester Cathedral, and it's said that they had like a clay pipe, I don't know whether it was underground or just on the surface, that transported water all the way from here to Chester Cathedral, which is pretty impressive because it's quite a far way away. And this church was also occupied by the parliamentarians during the English Civil War, when Chester was attacked towards the end of the Civil War. But yeah, shall we go see if we can actually get inside? So that was St James's in Christleton. We are going to carry on through the village now and carry on towards Beeston. Very cool that we could actually see Beeston on the hill from the drone footage. That was awesome. So we're just leaving Christleton now, and I think we should be heading back to the canal very soon down that road. It's a really cool little village, this, because they have all these little blue plaques everywhere. They're not like the official blue plaques, they're like their own Christleton blue plaques that detail all like the history of lots of buildings all around here. So yeah, that's very cool. It's nice to see that in a village. I believe this is the bridge going over the canal. Yes, it is. On the canal to the next village now, but this land that we're walking through, these fields through here, is the location of one of the last battles of the English Civil War. The Battle of Roton Moor happened somewhere around this area. It was a decisive victory for the parliamentarians. Supposedly King Charles was watching from Chester, from the tower, famous tower in Chester on the walls, and he watched the battle approaching, sort of the parliamentarian army approaching from here. So we're now in Waverton. Absolutely gorgeous around here. I love these houses right by canals. I'd love living something like that. But yes, on to Beeston we go. So all these bridges are numbered. This is 118. And I think the one I am looking for when I turn off to Beeston is 112. So quite a few bridges left. Thank God I've got decent weather for it. Another bridge done, 117. Right by a little narrowboat graveyard. Another bridge, 116. 115. There goes the train that I was literally on today, going to Chester. This stretch of canal goes on for a long time, as you can see. 114. Only two more. 113. Here we are, bridge 112. Beeston Castle is looming quite close now, so there it is, Beeston Castle looming on that hill. It's going to look further away on this camera. Trust me, it's actually not that far away now. Rising 107 metres above the Cheshire Plain, Beeston Castle is one of the most dramatically situated fortresses in England. It was built in the 1220s by Ranulph III, 6th Earl of Chester, on his return from the Crusades. He was a powerful magnate who effectively made the Earldom of Chester an autonomous region from government in his lifetime. From the castle's perched position, you can see for miles in all directions, making it a powerful statement of control as much as defence. The castle only saw real conflict during the English Civil War. It changed hands twice and was held by royalist forces during a year-long siege that the parliamentarians eventually won in 1645. Afterwards, the fortress was partially destroyed on purpose to prevent it ever being used as a stronghold again. There's also a legend that Richard II hid his royal treasure somewhere within these rocks, but no trace of it has ever been found. And whilst ordinary medieval pilgrims wouldn't have stayed in a fortress like Beeston Castle, it potentially would have been a place of rest for high-status members of the clergy. Regardless, it would have been a distinctive landmark on the route, a sign travellers were moving in the right direction, and through lands controlled and protected by their powerful lord. And we're now here at Wharton's Lock, the last lock of today's trip. This is where I am ending it today. So that was the first day of the Two Saints Way from Chester all the way to Beeston Castle, right here, or more specifically Wharton's Lock. I am doing the first day. So the next time I am going to be starting here, Wharton's Lock, going down past Beeston and going all the way to Nantwich. So yeah, first day of the Two Saints Way. It's been full of history and so much cool stuff in Chester. It's very heavy on the interest on the Chester end, and then most of the time you are just walking along the Shropshire Union Canal, which is this canal. Next time, that's the way we're going. So anyway, hope you like this video, like and subscribe, do all the YouTubey stuff, and I will see you in the next episode. So bye.